Residential report writing and case studies. Chapter 3, and test, review, and retake. Number 1. Eduardo completes an appraisal for a mortgage lender. 1 month later, a different lender calls and tells Eduardo that she has a copy of the report. She asks him to add her name onto the report as an intended user. What can Eduardo do under USPAP? You said he is not permitted to retroactively add intended users, and that is correct. Number 2. Which is longer, exposure time or marketing time? You said they are different concepts and either could be longer, and that is correct. Number 3. When an opinion of exposure time is developed, it must also be, you said, reported, and that is correct. In a written appraisal report, what is the predominant level of detail required? You said summarize, and that is correct. Number 5, an appraiser is required to state blank dates in every appraisal report. You said 2, and that is correct. Number 6, Rocky completes an appraisal on a small commercial building and he does not develop the cost approach. What are his reporting requirements for an appraisal report regarding the cost approach? You said he must explain the omission of the approach, and that is correct. Number 7, which report option specified in USPAP is the most detailed? You said restricted appraisal report, and that is incorrect. The actual answer is appraisal report. Of the reporting options listed in USPAP, the least detailed is the restricted appraisal report. The most detailed is the appraisal report. USPAP does not specify a reporting option called narrative report or limited report. Number 8. A real property appraisal report must contain sufficient information to allow blank to understand the scope of work. You said intended users, and that is correct. Number 9, USPAP requires an appraiser to disclose the blank of individuals who provide significant real property appraisal assistance to the appraiser. You said names and license status, and that is incorrect. The correct answer is just names. The name of the individual must be stated in the certification. A summary of the assistance he or she provided must appear somewhere in the report. Chapter 3, Real Property Appraisal Assistance. Number 10. The certification statement used in a written real property appraisal report must be similar in content to USPAP standards rule. You said 1 through 3. That is incorrect. The correct answer is 2 through 3. The certification used must be similar in content to Standards Rule 2 through 3. Chapter 3, Standards Rule 2-2, 12, Roman numeral 12. Number 11, the certification statement used in a written real property appraisal report must be used exactly word for word as it appears in USPAP Standards Rule 2-3. True or false? You said true, and that is incorrect. It's false. The certification used must be similar in content to USPAP. It does not have to be word for word. Chapter 3, SR 2-2, Roman numeral 11. Number 12, a sentence in an appraisal report that indicates the subject property is currently under agreement for $550,000 would be considered. You said a summary. That is incorrect. It is a statement. A statement such as the subject property is currently under agreement for $350,000 is not a summary, it is a statement. Chapter 3, Analysis of Contracts and Prior Sales. Number 13, Zoe is asked to provide an oral appraisal report. What is the USPAP requirement for oral reports? You said, to the extent possible and appropriate, oral appraisal reports must meet the requirements for an appraisal report. You answered that one correctly. Try again. Start quiz. Number 1, when an opinion of exposure time is developed, it must also be A, expressed in months, B, stated in the certification statement, C, reported, or D, supported with at least 6 sales of comparable properties. I'm going to say reported. Number 2, Rocky completes an appraisal on a small commercial building and he does not develop the cost approach. What are his reporting requirements for an appraisal report regarding the cost approach? A, he must explain the omission of the approach. B, he must develop the approach in every commercial assignment. C, he is not required to explain the omission of the approach if the client had asked him to omit it. And D, he should state in the report that he developed the cost approach and the results are retained in his work file. On a small commercial building and he does not develop the cost approach. For an appraisal report regarding the cost approach. He must explain the omission of the report approach. I'm going to go A. Number 3, in real life appraisal practice, which written report option is most commonly used? A, appraisal report. B, narrative appraisal report. C, complete appraisal report. Or D, restricted appraisal report. I'm going to go regular A, appraisal report. Stop respecting me. Number 4, Brenda prepares an appraisal report in which she states word for word the market value definition she is using. What other USPAP reporting requirements, if any, does she have regarding her definition of value? A, she must cite the source of the definition. B, there are no other USPAP requirements regarding her value definition. C, the definition must appear in boldface in a separate section of the report. Or D, she must use an extraordinary assumption regarding her value definition. I'm going to go A, she must cite the source of the definition. Number 5, Barb is reporting an appraisal on a single-family home using a URAR form. What is the best way to ensure that her report meets the requirements for an appraisal report? A, meet the minimum content requirements set forth in USPAP. B, fill out a form carefully and completely. C, insert a disclaimer stating that she is limited by the available space on the form. Or D, insert a competency statement. I'm going to go A, meet the minimum content requirements set forth in USPAP. Number 6, Howard appraised a property for a very secretive client who instructed him not to disclose to anyone that he had appraised the property. 27 months later, Howard receives an appraisal request from another client. What are Howard's USPAP obligations? A, he must invoke the jurisdictional exception rule in order to accept the new the assignment without disclosure of the prior assignment. He must decline the assignment. Hold on, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to redo this one.